What's going on, Commanders fans? Hope you're having a great Thursday. Today, I'm going to clean up some injury updates, give you a Terry McLaurin injury update per Ian Rappaport, and kind of talk about the practice today, how it went, what Joe Witt Jr. and Cliff Kingsbury both said, because they both spoke to the media today, and I'll kind of give you my predictions for what I think is going to happen in the game Sunday, meaning who's going to play in the game Sunday. My game preview for Sunday's game will come out tomorrow night on stream, 7 o'clock. Make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Also, hit the hype button on the video. So, we'll start with the Ian Rappaport update on Terry McLaurin. He says that Terry McLaurin's injury was described to him as a hip flexor injury and that he's closer to the negative side on playing this week. I told you guys that if Terry McLaurin, when he asked for a second doctor's opinion, it just wasn't going to go over well. And sure enough, here we are. Ian Rappaport said yesterday that Terry McLaurin was very much in doubt to play on Sunday. Here we are saying he's on the negative side. Again, it's apparently a hip flexor injury. This to me seems like a 2 to 3 week injury, maybe 4, and this could get very ugly. A lot of people hating on Terry McLaurin, saying he just turned 30 and now he's starting to get injuries after he gets paid $30 million, well, $29 million a year, but he can make up to $32 million. A lot of people saying that stuff, and listen, don't hate on Terry. He hasn't missed a game since 2019. He can't help injuries, and a lot of people are going to say that, Terry jogged over to get Luke McCaffrey's game ball or touchdown ball, and while that's true, Terry McLaurin, you can still jog and still be hurt, and apparently it's gotten worse over the weekend, so he has a hip flexor injury. He's not going to play on Sunday. It's pretty much been confirmed. It's not official, but it's pretty much been confirmed that Terry McLaurin is not going to play on Sunday, so there's the news on Terry McLaurin. Also, a major Sam Cosmi update. He will look like he will practice next week. So everybody in the media says that they expect Sam Cosmi to practice next week. Now, Ben Standig said, let's say Cosmi is cleared to practice next week. That opens a 21-day window. Sorry about that voice crack. That opens a 21-day window before he needs to be activated. Make me guess his return to play, and I'll chicken out by saying I doubt week 5. The sooner he starts practicing, the sooner he plays. Also, kudos to the other guards for their performances. A healthy Cosmi is better. He would help the defense and signed Captain Obvious. So, or he would help the offense. Sorry, I said defense, I think. He would help the offense, says Ben Standing. So I agree with Ben here. And if he does, again, like Ben said in his statement, if he does start practicing next week, they'll open up a 21-day window. He can play probably around week 5 or 6. And so we need Sam Cosmi back, but it's looking like Sam Cosmi will start practicing next week. So that's very good news. He'll come off the pup, and we'll get going on that. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, with a knee injury, was out here at practice today with pads and a helmet during stretches. He's wearing a sleeve on his left leg, and then they're probably going to list him as limited or full. So, very good for Bill. He was out there today. He was practicing. Bill's going to play. Bill's going to be active. As I have in my thumbnail, he's going to be active. Don't worry about that. By the way, we'll go over yesterday's injury report at the end of today's video because today's has not come out yet. Yesterday's is still pretty accurate. So, the players that were not at practice today was Terry McLaurin with a quad injury. He was not there. Noah Brown with a knee/groin injury was not at practice. Tight end John Bates with a groin injury/calf injury was not at practice. They were not on the field today. So, you're not going to see any of those guys play in the game on Sunday. It's become blatantly obvious, okay? Safety Percy Butler with a hip was doing work during practice with strength and conditioning coach Chad Engelhart, as is running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So they were both over there with the strength and conditioning coach. Butler is not in pads. Bill is. So Percy Butler might miss him this weekend. Again, Bill is going to play. He was in pads today. So, because I said this is the most important day of practice, right? So he's going to play. Now let's get into some of the things that Joe Witt Jr. and Cliff Kingsbury said at practice today. Then we'll get into the injury report. Then I'll get you out of here so you can enjoy the rest of your Thursday and enjoy Thursday night football tonight. Anyways, Joe Witt Jr. said on Bijan Robinson, he said, I see no weaknesses for the guy. He can do it all, run inside, outside, can catch. He does it all very, very well, which I tend to agree with. You can't disagree with that. Bijan is just a really talented player, and you have to stop the run this weekend. Carolina stopped the run. You have to stop the run. So do it. Cliff Kingsbury said last week, he said, we didn't play on our heels like we did in Green Bay. That's more indicative what we'd like to see week in, week out from our offense. Again, he's right. Like, we need to play more indicative. Cliff Kingsbury also said he needs to be more creative, and he said the offense is they're just gonna have to find a way around all the injuries. And so, love to hear Cliff say that. Joe Witt Jr. said of the last touchdown allowed versus the Raiders with the Trey Tucker, obviously the last touchdown, he had 3 touchdowns. He said, can't put that stank on us at the end of the game. If that play doesn't happen, it just feels better. Hopefully we can not let that happen. Okay, so that's what he said. And yeah, you better not let Trey Tucker get 3 touchdowns again, a guy like that. Don't do that, man. But yeah, the game should not have been that close. We still put up 40. We still had him to 24. So it is what it is. But that's what Joe Witt Jr. said on that situation. Witt also talked about Bobby Wagner in free rush pressure. The running back Genty should have picked him up, but carried out the play fake. By comparison, Krosky Merritt picked up 1 blitz when he broke off the PA fake because he saw the blitz coming, allowed Mariota to complete a 9-yard pass. So there was that, there was plenty of situations where Genty had nowhere to go. So Joe Witt Jr. was kind of talking a little bit about that, apparently, to the media. Also, Joe Witt Jr. talked about Javon Kinlaw. He said, I begged for the young man last year when he went to the Jets. I chuckle when people say negative things about him. He is what we needed, a penetrative, disruptive man. That's true. We needed a guy that could get in there, be violent, set a physical front, and stop the run, and that's quite frankly what he's done. He's also helped Daron Payne out, clearly, and so I think Kinlaw does have a sack this season as well, so Joe Witt Jr. definitely right on his statements about Javon Kinlaw there. He's definitely right about it, right, because he's just a dog. Chris Paul and Andrew Wiley played well per Cliff Kingsbury. He said that today. Cliff also said Paul has elevated his level of play since last year, which I agree with. Chris Paul was really, really good on Sunday's game. Filled in for everybody nicely. So love to see Chris Paul getting action, doing really well. Cliff Kingsbury also said the offense got back to the basics last week. Again, they did. That's what they did. They got, back to what they knew how to do. He said Dan Quinn preached physicality in the days before the game, and the players responded to it. It's Dan Quinn's a leader. Good to hear that. So physicality was the identity of Sunday's game. That's what they did. They put up 41 points, and that's what Cliff Kingsbury said about his offense. Now, Joe Witt Jr., he said this on creating turnovers. He said, we were close to getting the ball out, but close doesn't cut it. And while I was reading that, I was like, we were close to creating turnovers. You're really going to say that? But then he finished, close isn't good enough. And it's not. You have to get turnovers. And one of the goals for me was to get a turnover versus the Raiders, and they could not do that. This team has to start forcing turnovers. If they want to be successful this year, they have to start forcing turnovers. You know how the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0? They forced turnovers. So we have to start forcing turnovers now. I need to see the first one this week. All right? I need to see it. Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. said Jeremy Reeves will get more time on defense with Will Harris out. So, that answers my question. Jeremy Reeves will get a lot of the time on defense at safety, and then they'll probably work Darnell Savage in, more and more each game. Others like Tyler Owens may get bigger workloads with Reeves. The challenge is finding a way to take him away from special teams since he's their ace. So that's what, Joe Witt Jr. talked about. How do you take him away from special teams? He's our ace there, but we also kind of need him on defense. And his role on defense is way more important than his role on special teams, I do believe. And so you're going to see Jeremy Reeves out there a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Now let's get to the injury report from yesterday. And then in tomorrow's video, I'll probably go over the injury report from today. All right, so tight end John Bates had a calf and groin injury. He did not practice on Wednesday. Again, he's not going to play. It's becoming more and more clear. Noah Brown with a groin injury did not practice Wednesday. He lives on the injury report. He's not going to play. Again, that's becoming more and more clear. Percy Butler with a hip injury did not practice on Wednesday. He's up in the air. He may or may not play. JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, was fooled today in pads. He had a knee injury. Wednesday, He did not practice, but again, he was either limited or full today, which is a good sign. I think he will play on Sunday. Zach Ertz with a rest day yesterday. Don't worry about him. Terry McLaurin with a quad injury. He did not practice yesterday. He's not going to play on Sunday, as I've already told you. Von Miller rest day. Daron Payne rest day. Laramie Tunsil rest day. Don't worry about those guys if you see him on the injury sheet. Trey Amos with a calf injury. He was limited on Wednesday. I think he's going to play, but I think it's kind of up in the air a little bit. Would love to see him be more healthy. Jaden Daniels with the knee injury. He was limited yesterday. He's going to play on Sunday. Trust me. He wants to go. The team, I think they feel like he's ready. And then Colson Yankoff with an ankle injury. He was full in practice yesterday, so don't even worry about Colson Yankoff. The tight end room is short, so we definitely needed Colson to play this Sunday, and he was full yesterday. It looks like he will definitely play, so that's good to see, good to hear. And that's your injury report from yesterday. They will get more updates as the day goes on today and then tomorrow, and so. Yeah, so if I had to give you a prediction on who's playing and who's not, John Bates, Noah Brown, Terry McLaurin, they're all not going to play. All right, that's become obvious. I think Jaden Daniels, Bill, they will play. I think Percy Butler will probably play. I think Trey Amos will probably play. And so we're going to have most of our guys back, but injuries have plagued us this year, and it feels like this team is just slowly falling apart a little bit. But now we're going to have to glue together as a unit and come out better, stronger than ever. And so that was what took place today in practice. They were in the black jerseys today. Look really tough. They're going to be in the ATL on Sunday. So tomorrow, I don't think they're practicing tomorrow, if I'm going to be honest. But I still haven't learned the full NFL schedule. Maybe they travel on Saturday. I don't know. But they might have some sort of practice tomorrow. If they do, I will have a video on that. But that's going to do it for the content today. Make sure you go watch the stream that I made earlier. Make sure you go watch that. But that's going to do it for me right now, though. Hail to the Washington Commanders. As always, you guys have a great rest of your night. Seahawks and Cardinals tonight. Who's going to win that game? Give me the Seahawks in that game. That's going to do it for me. Hail to the Washington Commanders, as always, and peace.